In a one-on-one interview with Scripps News Denver, the city's mayor, Mike Kaufman, a Republican, said he went to the apartment complex accompanied by members of the Aurora Police Department to see it for himself.
It seems that in some of those criminal elements have come up here, and that, for instance, Venezuela does not cooperate with the United States with our immigration services when it comes to sharing criminal histories. So it's difficult to vet people at the border.
Kaufman has tiptoed around questions about the gang's presence, saying it appears the building is not being run by management. But when pressed on whether he has received confirmation from authorities on whether TDA is present, he has said he is not.
I think.
What do you kind of make of that? Because, like, you know, we clearly seen like last week that people was, hey, you know, these migrants coming in, they taking over. Then we saw some video footage as well. What do y'all kind of think? Is this like who's capping here?
I mean, it could be a conspiracy for them to control the situation, control the narrative, and make it seem like it's nothing happening. It probably was something happening. Because you look bad if you allowed this to happen, you know what I'm saying, to the world. You will incite panic, and it will cause people to, when they see Venezuelans, to act a certain way towards them with aggression. So you're trying to, you know, clean up that narrative and change it. And the people that probably did post those videos, they probably paid every last one of them to shut the fuck up.
The question was, do you think the gangs of, do you think these cartel gangs is a serious threat in America?
Oh, yes. I mean, yeah. I mean, we're going to have to deal with it one way or another. Like you say, Rob said, you know, they're going to clash with other gangs. That's inevitable. And when gangs clash, there'll be death. That's just how it is. With anything, gangs clashing, there will be war and there will be death, and that's why I believe that's why they situated a lot of the migrants in the black neighborhoods, because they want us to fight. They want us to have this confrontation with them. So,
welcome back to the Chicago Black Delegation podcast, everybody. I'm your host HTAK High Thinking, and we are back with another video with another update actually on the migrant crisis in Aurora. So before we get started, I ask everybody here a quick question regarding like this situation. So like briefly, what do you kind of think about how I'm gonna put it this way? Do you think the current gang culture, do you think the current migrant gang culture is a serious threat here in America?
Yep. Yeah. 100%.
Sorry, were you counting?
100%, because you have to imagine that it's going to start off as gangs, right? The Venezuelan gangs, the way they do things, their culture, gang culture, is probably different than them here, right? That's where it start off. Then there probably end up having beef with black gangs, Mexican gangs, Puerto Rican gangs. Now, what the problem may persist is that you have to imagine, I think it's the native language of Venezuelan or Hispanics, right? At some point, they can speak Spanish, Mexicans speak Spanish, Puerto Ricans speak Spanish. It's almost like the same thing that happened over there in California. They had all them different Spanish gangs, and now they're under the banner of the Mexican mafia. You know what I'm saying? So now the numbers in California have greatly shifted. I don't know what it is at this present, but I know when the last time I seen it, probably like a year or so ago, it was 60,000 Mexican mafia members and only 19,000 Bloods and Crips.
Oh wow. Gang demographic, population demographic.
Right. I mean, I think they said the Mexican gangs can always kind of outweigh the black gangs because they right, connected to Mexico. They have what we say in the supply of soldiers.
Right. So that's what then you got to look at Venezuelans in South America. Now, granted, their culture is very different. They may not get along there, but here they're going to have a common goal.
Yeah.
Then it's going to go from a gang war to a race war.
Let me explain though. Culturally, Hispanics don't like Venezuelans.
No, I said they're Mexican.
No, even here, like a lot of them, they ain't fucking with them that.
They're not. But that's why I'm making the comparison
to the mob,
to Mexican mafia.
But that took years for that to happen.
It did.
That's just one. You know what happened? It was one dude that was probably cool, and he can probably maneuver through multiple sets, and he formed that banner.
It started in prison. The different Hispanic cultures in prison came together
to fight the blacks,
the Mexican mafia. Right. So when they had people getting out, they united the different
outside of the street, because they was united in prison. That's how I kind of go.
Right. So then what happens when you have the different Hispanic gangs, and remember, they all speak the same dialect. So they have some camaraderie understanding with each other.
Yeah, they do.
So then what happened to turn to a race war? You already got Latin kings that don't like black people, and they make that the sole reason they do something. They just tie it to the gang reasons.
Yeah.
Help me and you went through the similar thing. So it just said like, what happens when it becomes a race war? And they outnumber us.
Okay.
Well, like we always gotta say, Rod, maybe a lot of them bitches, they can't take these fights.
All right. So, Ken, same question. Please don't incite a debate. I beg you. The question was, do you think these cartel gangs is a serious threat in America?
Oh yes. I mean, yeah. I mean, we're gonna have to deal with it one way or another. Like you say, Rob said, they're gonna clash with other gangs. That's inevitable. And when gangs clash, there'll be death. That's just how it is. When anything gangs clashing, there will be war and there will be death, and that's why I believe they situated a lot of the migrants in the black neighborhoods because they want us to fight them. They want us to have this confrontation with them. So
Yeah.
they didn't put them nowhere else.
Gotcha. Interesting. And then and for everybody, just to clarify for everybody, or just to be fair for everybody, there's it's not just blacks in here, like living here, but obviously like only black people primarily are in these gangs. So the people that are surrounding these areas is not just obviously not just black people. There's gonna be other people caught in the crossfire as well. So I'm just saying, like, don't let this be just a black thing. Don't let the blacks, your neighborhood be like the only one that's fighting, because this type of thing like affects everybody. This like them. I mean, no matter what happens, no matter who they fill these vacant and abandoned buildings with, like it's gonna find its way at your doorstep as well. So, as you see everybody else getting involved in like local politics and like local outreaches and protests and stuff like that, don't be afraid to lock shoulders, lock arms with us. You know what I'm saying? And fighting this huge mistake that our government is befalling us with, or just making us deal with. So, Jay.
I mean, yeah, of course, I can see it becoming like a real problem, like with the MS-13s, how they were doing their thing in Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, some Southern California. Like their culture, like it's so different from up here. Like Venezuela, like they damn near lawless out there. So you know what I'm saying, by them coming up here, it's like carrying that same attitude. It's like, what the fuck? Who do you think you are for real, for real? Like they doing shit like motherfuckers couldn't dream of doing, and now they sitting up here taking over, and it's not gonna sit well with people. It's gonna cause a race war, like even what Kanji said, like it's gonna end up building up to that. And I find it really remarkable that they ended up linking up in jail under one common cause. Like that's what the hell we need to do, but people don't see it that way. Everybody want to be for themselves, but they like we're all here. It's them against us, so we might as well just band up.
Yeah, I mean, and the funny thing is, like, I would say socially, culturally, even it's like it likely stacks up that way. But like, if you kind of take a step back and I would argue, if you take a step back and see like a slightly larger picture, just see how the science kind of dictates this. You'll realize that these are a group of people that came from the same place, and they all speak the same language, and the other people that speak their language ain't on their side. You know what I'm saying? For the most part. I mean, I'm sure there's, well, you know what? Legislatively, they are definitely on their side. Just let's put that out there first and foremost. But like the people and stuff like that. There are like a lot of Latinos like showing up to these town hall meetings and displaying their discontent, their anger towards the leadership, towards Brandon Johnson and stuff like that, regarding placing these migrants in keeping Chicago as a sanctuary city. So like, just want everybody to know, like, there's not just one opinion amongst the Hispanic community regarding these immigrants or these immigrants. Yeah. So the point I was making was like I said, how things kind of stacked up was like, yeah, these people came from the same place. The people that's up here are either like kind of iffy about their union with the migrants. The immigrants, and then so they kind of just all decided, like, you know what, we all we got, and it's not like they can reach out to blacks and like speak, because they don't even speak our language. So like it's like naturally, like it's like natural selection. I would argue with it, like natural selection. So natural selection pin them together, make them unionize, and make them realize that okay, we either gonna, be stagnant, despite the circumstances, despite not being able to work, not having anywhere to go, and whole time most of these motherfuckers hate us. I mean, they got TikToks, they a lot of them can't translate, and some of them they probably do have their own forms of propaganda. You know what I'm saying? And depending on how that propaganda like flows, I mean, yeah, it's gonna get to a point where things could get violent for not just them but us as well, because we're gonna be caught up we can't get caught up with this, obviously. So, but enough of my opinion. Let's see what this news source has to say regarding the crisis. Oh, okay. I'm sorry, the police.
I cannot wait to hear what he has to say.
I'm gonna have to cut this out. But like Trump, he just said what the news is saying around. Oh, did you see that thing about the migrants in Colorado? He kind of just be looking at headlines and shit like that, and he kind of like behind as well. So this is gonna be like the update as far as what's been happening with or the latest information regarding that situation that happened in Aurora, Colorado. I was definitely surprised to see the things that I was seeing.
This week, residents who live at the complex held a news conference saying they haven't seen a large-scale gang presence or a takeover.
Here, none of us feel threatened. We don't feel threatened by any gangs. We feel threatened by the owner of this apartment, who asks us constantly to pay a high rate.
Residents of the apartment complex said there are gangs, but they have not run into any members of the Tren de Aragua themselves. In a one-on-one interview with Scripps News Denver, the city's mayor, Mike Kaufman, a Republican, said he went to the apartment complex accompanied by members of the Aurora Police Department to see it for himself.
It seems that in some of those criminal elements have come up here, and that, for instance, Venezuela does not cooperate with the United States with our immigration services when it comes to sharing criminal histories. So it's difficult to vet people at the border.
Kaufman has tiptoed around questions about the gang's presence, saying it appears the building is not being run by management. But when pressed on whether he has received confirmation from authorities on whether TDA is present, he has said he is not.
I think people are excited about that, oh, it's a transnational gang. And, I'm obviously concerned about it, but, quite frankly, to me personally, what matters is we get these people off the street.
Okay, so according to the citizens, like there's no, and these are actually, those are, they claim to be people that actually live at that apartment complex, and they said there's no situation going on, like there's no migrant takeover or anything crazy like that. So what do you kind of make of that? Because we clearly seen like last week that people was, hey, these migrants come in and they taking over. Then we saw some video footage as well. What do y'all kind of think? Is this like who's capping here?
I mean, it could be a conspiracy for them to control the situation, control the narrative, and make it seem like it's nothing happening. It probably was something happening. Because you look bad if you allowed this to happen, you know what I'm saying, to the world. You will incite panic, and it will cause people to, when they see Venezuela, to act a certain way towards them with aggression. So you're trying to, clean up that narrative and change it. And the people that probably did post those videos, they probably paid every last one of them to shut the fuck up.
Interesting. So here's another source. Here's another story from CBS Colorado. So they got something to say about it as well. So let's check it out.
Well, this video has been seen online thousands of times all across the country. Men with long guns in the hallway of an Aurora apartment building. Residents there say this type of activity is nothing new. Now, your reporter in Aurora, Michael Abeda, shares how Aurora police are trying to reassure residents.
As the panic over Venezuelan gangs in the community continues to spread, Aurora police came out to this apartment complex on Friday to try to reassure neighbors that they are here for them. Meanwhile, the mayor is taking a much tougher approach.
We're out here because we care.
Friday, the city of Aurora released video of interim police chief Heather Morris and a cadre of officers meeting with residents at an apartment complex that was at the center of conversations in the media and online about Venezuelan gang activity.
We want to reassure the people that live in this community that we are actively investigating criminal activity that's happening and listening to them.
Earlier this week, a former resident came forward with security video of men with large guns to say she doesn't feel like the police are taking the issue seriously.
There have been so many occasions that I've called the police that while I'm sitting in my window watching the crime take place, they will call me and say, I'm sorry, but we're not coming.
Her car was even shot with a bullet before Aurora Councilmember Danielle Durinsky helped her find a new place to live. Durinsky, who's been insisting for weeks that apartments in the city are being overrun by dangerous Venezuelan gangs, says the police and city need to do something before someone gets hurt or killed.
I have had city leaders give interviews essentially trying to make it seem like I've made this entire thing up. I think that politics is being played here with people's lives.
Friday, Aurora Mayor Mike Kaufman posted online that the Aurora City Attorney's Office is going to request an emergency court order to clear the apartment buildings.
I'm not saying that there's not gang members that don't live in this community.
Aurora Police says they have never denied that Venezuelan gangs exist in the city, and they have a task force to handle the situation, but they think the problem is being overstated.
What we're learning out here is that gang members have not taken over this complex.
Mayor Kaufman pointed out that while he is ready to take action, the apartment complexes that have seen the most trouble are owned by the same out-of-state owner and have a history of crime that predated the trouble with the Venezuelan gangs. In Aurora, Michael Abeta, covering Colorado.
Okay. So yeah, this so I mean, like I said, we definitely had a lot to say last week on Chicago Black Delegation podcast regarding the story, and I mean, now news sources and the police start coming out to say that hey, it was a hoax. I don't know. I honestly, I personally think it can go either way, and because I like this is kind of how this kind of thing sort of like kind of happens, you know what I'm saying? It's like I said last week, many vacant buildings, you know what I'm saying, has literally been filled up with these people, and like leave it to like a slumlord, you know what I'm saying, or somebody that's not keeping up with this property and stuff like that. So I mean, how's it really put it? When people leave, the place is gonna get filled in with migrants, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And let enough of them get in, let enough militant ones like gather together and stuff like that. Yeah, they could mess around and do something extreme like this. But I mean, at the same time, on the other hand, like just how likely, how else really put this? Just how likely how do I put this? Just how likely would it be for all these people to kind of gather up on the same accord and actually be as like militant as they are to be as bold enough to take over a couple of apartment complexes? Is it just like some kind of action movie or something like that? Is this real life? You feel me?
I mean, that's what they do over there in Panama and all those places. That's their tactics. That's how they get out.
When I say motherfuckers,
that's how they know how to get out and get money.
Like they lawless.
Yeah.
Lawless out there. Like that's how the cartel, like that's how they get their money, by charging, like taking over spots and charging people like rent or whatever for protection.
Yeah.
They doing what they know, you know, and that's how they talk to get money.
So it's like, it's very plausible. All this stuff is like likely to happen.
Yeah, that's what they do.
So
how do they even get up this far? Were they transported up here?
Yeah, they were transported. Yeah. They dropping niggas off the planes.
That's crazy.
And
I'm my apology. You can say something?
No, you're good. No,
I would imagine, because I know they walked from so far, and then I guess hit the borders, and I guess they taking them from the borders.
Yeah,
wouldn't they be all over the southern cities first? How the fuck they?
No, they not. They said they got buses at the border, and they got taking them to planes, buses, all that, and they shipping them to sanctuary cities. Mm-hmm. That's what the governor of Texas is doing, because it was always his problem. But since everybody wanted to be so pro migrants and this, he wanted to show y'all this what it looks like.
Yeah. So, like I said, man, not much as I had it. Like it apparently it can go either way. Like the official news source have chosen the side of, oh, the migrants aren't a problem. You know what I'm saying? Let everybody, you know, it's okay. You know, no crisis over here, no crisis situation over here. Situation was never a problem to begin with. And then I mean, I don't know. It's definitely going to be hard to like prove like what actually happened there. It's kind of hard to prove the reverse.
I mean, the white woman said they was telling her, you know, act like it didn't happen. Like, I mean, she was saying like, you know, they're trying to make her look crazy, like she didn't experience what she was experiencing.
Oh, the woman that got a bullet put through her. Yeah, she got here.
So she's not trying to hear that shit you talking. Like, no, I fucking lived it, bitch. So.
Yeah, and we haven't gotten I think. And they tried to, in the videos that we saw with those guys with the quote unquote long guns, I believe they said that was like a situation, like that wasn't new. Like that stuff was like already kind of happening. And like what we kind of, like this whole TikTok and IG, swarm of like new information, quote unquote new information, was just a hoax. Like, I mean, first of all, it don't really matter if that was a hoax or not. Like the fact that like people are out there doing the things that they doing with those quote unquote long guns. It's clearly emphasized a huge problem that's going on in that apartment. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know where those good dudes migrants. Were they part of the cartel? I mean, maybe that's up for grabs. But I mean, they looked like they was. So I mean, what do I know? I guess, right? And I guess that's the point. Like that's the point of like contentious information. But here on the Chicago Black Delegation podcast, we're gonna stay on top of this situation. Anything that comes up, we're gonna let y'all know. Y'all got anything to like close us out with? Anything else? If your final words?
Not at all, man. Not at all.
Okay. So what?